YouTube or, Mavs fans, whoever's watching this video right now, I just want to do a quick disclaimer before I get into the video. I did get pretty worked up throughout this video. We usually have good vibes on the channel, and I honestly don't know what's wrong with me. I'm a passionate basketball fan. What can I say? I will catch you guys in the video. Let's get it. YouTube, whether you're a Mavs fan or not and you clicked on this video, please stick around. This video in particular is more of a letter to Mavs fans, really just kind of in support of Mavs fans and stuff like that. So at the time of me recording this video last night, the Mavs, lose game 5 to the Boston Celtics, lose in the finals, and they make it all the way to the finals, but they lose in kind of a disappointing fashion, I would say. If you're a Mavs fan, you maybe had some higher hopes for the series, and that's understandable. What I want to say primarily is, there's going to be a lot of people, and just, me covering the Mavs throughout the past few weeks and on this channel and stuff like that, man, people really are disrespecting Luka Doncic and the Mavs in a pretty, unfavorable and unwarranted and just a downright kind of nasty way. And I just want to say to the Mavs fans, like, please try not to let that get to you, man, because at the end of the day, you guys made it all the way to the finals. You weren't supposed to be there. And I say that with all, due respect. Like, I'm not saying that as a, insult. I'm saying that as a compliment. Like, you guys made it all the way to the finals with your best player on one knee. You know what I mean? The Luka Doncic slander has been absolutely outrageous throughout this final series. He didn't have the best series of his career. He didn't have the best performance, but Brian Windhorst and a lot of these Mavs haters, they have been trying to discredit Luka Doncic like I've never seen. It's almost similar to a LeBron James that you see this slander and disrespect towards Luka. It's nothing like I've seen other than LeBron, like I said, and it's just over the top. It's out of line. It doesn't make any sense. I want to send this message to Mavs fans. Don't let all the disrespect, please don't let it get to you, man. Don't take it seriously. These people don't know what they're talking about. I want to just share some great things about Mavs and their fan base in this video, and let's start with their postseason run. I mean, first of all, you catch fire towards the halfway point in the season, basically after the All-Star break. You catch fire, the Mavs, you make it all the way into the 5 seed, right? Like, the Mavs were a borderline play-in team throughout the season, and they get all the way to the 5 seed, right? Which is pretty awesome. The weeks leading up to the postseason, all that winning, really puts you guys in a good position. You really found your stride. You really found your chemistry during that time period, and you carried that into the playoffs. The series, the first series in the playoffs, you take on the Clippers with multiple Hall of Famers, and you take them down, I wouldn't say easily, but I think it was a 6-game series. The Mavs clearly just outplayed the Clippers, right? You took down multiple Hall of Famers, and Luka in particular, right? This is kind of the narrative I want to talk about, because people have called Luka out of shape, immature, overrated, crybaby, can never win a championship. All he does is dribble and cry to the refs. These people can't be taken seriously that are saying that. This is one of the greatest players I've ever seen in my life. And if you're a Mavs fan, it might even be the greatest player you've seen on your team. I mean, Dirk Nowitzki was great. He was so great. I mean, that 2011 finals run was spectacular. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. But make no mistake, man, this is a generational talent. This is a all-time great offensive talent, maybe the most complete offensive player I've ever seen other than LeBron James and Nikola Jokic, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. He is in that conversation. I mean, he is that great and that special. His IQ, everything. You guys, I don't have to explain that to Mavs fans, but the point I'm trying to make is, Luka on a bad knee, a sprained knee, banged up throughout the playoffs, takes on multiple Hall of Famers, Clippers, knocks them down in 6 games. I think most people expected them to win that series because of Kawhi Leonard's injury. I picked them to win that series, but then you go to the second round and you play the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder are the 1 seed, right? And they have such a great season and a talented young roster. This was a series I think a lot of people expected the Thunder to win. I was pretty favorable towards the Mavs. Before the series started, I predicted the Mavs go to the conference finals, but again, Mavs, struggle early in that series and go on to win. Luka takes down the MVP runner-up and the 1 seed in the West as the 5 seed. That is incredible, right? Like, where were all the Luka haters then? And then in the Western Conference Finals, you take on maybe the best defensive team I've ever seen in my life in the Minnesota Timberwolves. They didn't have a great series collectively, but at the end of the day, that is a lot of credit to the Mavs for making them not have a great series. You make it to the finals, right? Against all odds, you make it to the finals. No one predicted the Mavs going to the finals before the playoffs started. I got news for you, folks. It was the Nuggets, it was the Timberwolves, and it was the Thunder in that conversation for the weeks leading up to the playoffs. And all of a sudden, the Mavs make the finals. Luka has a couple bad games. You lose the finals. You arguably were never expected to make it there in the first place. Luka has a couple bad games, and all of a sudden, he's a crybaby. He's a choke artist. He can't win. He'll never win a finals until he matures and grows up. He's not a leader. He's out of shape. His play style doesn't translate to winning in the playoffs. What are these people talking about? Mavs fans, don't take these people seriously. Don't listen listen to him, man. You have such a bright future ahead of you. You have one of the greatest players I've ever seen in my life on your team at only 25 years old, and you just made the finals. I mean, are these people serious? Like, how about, you know, the good things about Luka, right? Like, he carries his team year in and year out to heights that he's not supposed to, right? Think about the 2022 playoff run where he takes on the Golden State Warriors, you know, him and Brunson, and, you know, he was injured, I believe, for some of that playoff run, but he comes out and just, you know, demolishes the Phoenix Suns in embarrassing fashion, who were the 1 seed again that season and had won 60 plus games, makes it all the way to the conference finals, and just, you know, the team didn't have enough. But Luka consistently has been one of the greatest playoff performers for a young player in NBA history. And this season, I think it was a little bit different because he actually had a lot of help, right? So maybe you saw some lackluster performances here and there, but listen, this is still the guy that at the age of 25 has carried his team to a conference final and a final series, beating all odds in both situations, especially this season. Has a couple bad games in the finals, and now all of a sudden he'll never win a championship with his attitude. And I actually don't get why people are saying this. Like, most of the takes are pretty understandable. A lot of them are trolling, they're wrong, or they're just biased or whatever, and they're just misinformed, whatever. I can understand where it comes from, right? Like, oh, I could see how he would think that, but it's a really dumb take regardless. This one I actually don't get, because Luka has been super favorable in the NBA community as far as I understand for the past couple seasons. I mean, this is a guy that is celebrated league wide, and as a young talent, we've again never quite seen a talent like him. He's like a better version of James Harden in his prime. I mean, he's a bigger, stronger, more consistent in the playoffs James Harden to me, right? Like, that's the kind of talent that he is. All-time great offensive talent. And I don't understand this world we're living in where a couple bad performances in the playoffs or in the finals on a bad knee is suddenly, you can't lead a team to a championship. Is Luka perfect? No. No player has ever been. Is he Michael Jordan? No. No player has ever been, other than maybe the guy on that poster behind me, LeBron James. But they do the same thing to LeBron, man. Like, when you're at the top, they just want to tear you down. They'll do anything they can to discredit you. And, the second you don't have a perfect game or a perfect performance, you're a loser and you're a choker and whatever. So again, Luka, has had a tendency to complain to the refs too much, right? He doesn't get back on defense at times. He maybe arguably is a little heliocentric with his offensive play style. Again, those are things we've been saying for a while, right? I get that. But like the heliocentric part of it, first of all, like that's not 100% up to him. I mean, the team is, running that play style regardless. And obviously that's working if they're getting to the NBA finals, right? How is he not a winner? Like, that's another narrative I'm getting. Like, oh, he'll never win a championship. Dude just got to the finals. I don't understand it. Like, he was literally 3 games away from holding a Larry O'Brien trophy, and you're saying he can't win a championship with his attitude and his leadership and his lack of maturity? What is this? What am I seeing? Are these people serious? I'm going off here, but I just want you to know, Mavs fans, you're not alone in defending your favorite player, because this is outrageous, man. I don't understand it. Again, like I said, some of the toxic narratives around certain players in the league, especially the great ones, have some grain of truth in them. This one I don't see. It's just pure hate, toxic, energy, and it just, don't take it seriously, man. I've tried to do the same. I've been pretty defensive of Luka in the past because, in the past couple weeks, like I said, because, this new kind of narrative and the mischaracterization of his career and his playoff run is just, it's totally disrespectful, man. And it's just not reality. Watch the games. You know what I mean? Watch the games and you'll see differently. I mean, the Mavs don't make the playoffs without Luka Doncic. The Mavs are a lottery team without Luka Doncic. The Mavs are never taken seriously without Luka Doncic. There is no world where he is costing the like, how can you say he was the, reason they lost? How about the Celtics were just one of the best teams in NBA history and they came out and dominated the Mavs? The Mavs were never beating the Celtics, They could have stole a couple games here and there if they played perfectly, but, that just didn't happen, right? I don't think you can blame it all on Luka. And I know it's the playoffs, and I know people are gonna say, oh, everyone's banged up in the playoffs. The Celtics missed their third best player, Kristaps Porzingis. True, I get it, right? Everybody's hurt in the playoffs. By the time you get to the finals, everybody's got some kind of injury. This is a knee sprain. This isn't a, nagging injury. This is a injury that you would, in the regular season, sit out for multiple weeks for. It is a really serious injury, and I don't think people are taking that seriously enough, I'm not, trying to stick up for Luka because I'm biased towards him and I just like him. I do like him, but that's not the reason I'm doing this. I stick up for players that I feel are wrongly being disrespected, and the fan base is, one of the best fan bases in the league. Mavs fans, don't let this get to you, man. Keep your heads up. You guys had an amazing season. I know I'm being a little negative and toxic throughout this video, but listen, man, and maybe I shouldn't be fighting fire with fire, but that's on me. I gotta stick up for, things that when people are wrong, I gotta tell them, that's part part of this channel. I have to be able to speak my mind and stuff like that. So, you know, maybe you disagree, let me know down in the comments, but I just want Mavs fans to watch this video and understand that you're not alone in probably thinking what I'm thinking, you know? Some Mavs fans agree with that take, right? Like, again, like, I just don't get it, because if without Luka, you're nowhere near as relevant as you are. You're not even in the situation you're in. Like, the guy's allowed to have a couple bad games, man. Like, just chill out. It's a super overreaction to something that's not as big of an issue, I don't think, as people are making it out to be. To call this guy a crybaby and a loser is like, it doesn't compute in my head. Are we watching the same game? Are we watching the same league here? How is he a loser if he makes the finals at age 25, right? How is he a loser if he has one of the highest, you know, points per game average in playoff history at his age? How is he a loser if he's been to the conference finals and upset countless teams in the playoffs throughout his career? How is he a loser? How does his game not translate to the playoffs? This isn't a situation where it's like James Harden or Joel Embiid, where they flat out just don't translate a lot of their stuff to the playoffs, right? Like, they've had struggles translating basic, you know, fundamental elements of their game to the playoffs. That is not what this is, man. This is Luka having a few bad games on a bad knee. That's what this is, right? You can, you know, make legitimate criticisms about his complaining to officials. You can make legitimate criticisms about him not getting back on defense, him not being a good defender, him not being a great, you know, effort guy on defense. But, you know, that's legitimate stuff. I can see where people are coming from there, but to spin that into loser, crybaby, out of shape is just, it's wild to me. It's totally blatantly wrong and disrespectful. I mean, both things can be true, man. I always talk about these things are not mutually exclusive, man. Luka can be lazy on defense, he can be crying to the officials too much, and he can also be one of the greatest players I've ever seen. Those two things can both be true at the same time, and they are. You know, he's also one of the best players you've ever seen watching this video right now. I don't care what age you are. This is a generational offensive talent that the likes we've only seen a handful of times, right? And I agree that some of those things are true, right? Like, he, you know, maybe it could be in a little bit better conditioning. Maybe he could try to stay in front of ball handlers a little bit more. Maybe he could try to not complain about calls so much. But to say that that makes him X, Y, and Z, as I mentioned before, is just, it's insane. So Mavs fans, keep your heads up, man. Don't let this get to you. You got a great team, you got a great core, you got a great future. You're only going to get better next season. And don't let, you know, these people drain your confidence of your best player. And, you know, the guy that we're seeing night in and night out for the Mavericks, the fan base in Dallas is absolutely incredible. You know, this is a fan base that rallies for their team. This is a fan base that, you know, will sell out every game. This is one of the best fan bases in the entire league, and I just hate to see them being slandered and their best player being slandered, their team being mischaracterized. It's just, it's gross to me, you know? Stop doing that. Please, people, stop doing that. I know me, you know, yelling and being angry about this it's only gonna fuel the fire. I understand that, but I gotta get off my chest, man. I gotta stick up for what's, you know, right, in my opinion, and this is that situation. I think people are being totally misrepresentative of the situation that we watch in the playoffs, the finals. I really hope that Luka comes out next season and just proves everybody wrong like he has his whole career, you know, just shuts everybody up, because that's just really what I want to see. I think that's what'll happen. Luka's a guy that I think understands what people are saying about him. I think he understands what the narrative is. I think he's a guy that, you know, takes that personally, and this is an all-time great competitor as well. You know, Luka doesn't quit on games. He's not that guy, man. Stop paying him out to be that guy. So I usually don't get this worked up in my videos. I try to keep it unbiased, objective, you know, pretty positive and upbeat, but man, this is kind of annoying me, you know what I mean? I'm just tired of seeing this. So I'm sure I'll get comments, you know, in support of the opposite narrative, but Mavs fans, please don't let this bother you, man. I really do feel for you guys. You know, imagine, you know, getting all the way to the finals, losing to a better team, you know, because that's what happened, and then having all the blame being placed on the guy who got you there and the rest of your team. Can we just stop doing that as the NBA community? Can we please stop? The Celtics were a better team, and they were probably going to beat anyone regardless of how anyone played, right? We can't just give credit to the Celtics. We got to slander Luka in the process. So Mavs fans, listen, I'm here for you guys. I understand what, you know, people are saying about your team. So maybe this was a little toxic. I do apologize. I try to keep it light and, you know, for most of the time, but please hang in there, man. You got a bright future. Don't let your confidence wane about what people are saying about Luka and, you know, the rest of your team. You know, you got a great team. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, and you got a bright future. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys drop a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel. We do a lot more, you know, upbeat stuff. You know, this is about as toxic as I'll get, and I really don't like doing this, but I just felt it was necessary today. So, you know, if you guys want to see more content, we upload every single day on this channel, NBA content, all things NBA. Got the off season coming up, trades, draft, free agency, summer Olympics, all that stuff. We upload NBA content every day on the channel. So if you guys don't want to miss it, make sure you guys subscribe. Drop a like on the video, really helps out the channel. I'll catch you guys in the next ones. Mavs fans, keep your heads up, stay positive, love and support you guys. Have a great rest of your day today. This is your boy D. D Haven as always. Peace.